So you know what? I was sitting here thinking, and I won't be here too long to take up y'all time because Goddess knows that we don't have time to be dealing with people's drama and ignorance for hours. We don't do that. But I wanted to come and talk to y'all real quick about just a few things that I wanted to speak about with all of the extra like harassment that I've been receiving daily, and just to talk about why it got worse and worse and worse, and why it's happening so often. Okay? Why it's happening so often. So about 10 years ago, I made the mistake of talking to a couple of women on here. One of them was Spiritually Naima, goes by Vanita. Well, her real name is Vanita Davis, and she goes by Spiritually Naima, as well as AKT, which is Alexis K. Tyler, Tia Wilson, and then also Tina Rodan, who goes by a, a bunch of different Tina names. I'm not going to say her channel name because she's itching and begging and itching and scratching for some kind of advertisement, and I won't be giving that to either of them, to any of them. I wonder why y'all ever sit back and wonder why they're so mad, and not necessarily Tina, because Tina has always been a fraud. She's kind of like a webcam model slash professional troll slash I'm gonna act and be whatever you want me to be. But Vanita Davis and Tia Wilson, who goes by Alexis K. Tyler, the both of them actually still do have websites. However, if you notice, even though Alexis has had the same website for years, but Vanita, she keeps changing her website. Like, she was kind of having some trouble. And I think that she doesn't really like to verify things, because she was complaining about how they want all this information. And, if you're going to monetize your channel, I realize the reason why they have been so upset is because, number one, all of their so-called businesses failed years ago. Like, I'm talking about back in, oh man, 2018, 2019. And I think that it is because of, retirement and disability and food stamps as to why they even survive, because there's no business, there's no nothing, there's literally nothing but fraud happening. So I believe that the reason why they're so upset and why they keep working through that group of people is because I reported Alexis and Vanita to the Federal Trade Commission years ago. In fact, Vanita got reported so much, that Mother Wisdom Tree, she got reported so much, like fraud. What I reported was fraud. Okay, because that's exactly what they do. Just to give you guys a brief history, why did I report Alexis for fraud? The reason why I reported her for fraud is because I was unsuspecting. I went to Alexis years ago about buttercream. I didn't even realize that Alexis was trying to claim to be a psychic. She does a totally bogus reading back when I still lived in Kansas. I paid her for the reading. And then I also bought some of her buttercream and supported her business. And a month later, literally nothing happened. And a month later, Alexis was all around in social media trying to fluff herself up by claiming that I was stalking her. So that's why she got reported for fraud to the Federal Trade Commission. And everything that she has done has failed, which is why she comes on here and typically the reason why she can't, if y'all notice, Alexis cannot come on here and say, hey, I'm selling my buttercream. Hey, I've got this available. Hey, I've got new packaging for my buttercream and my products. She cannot do that because she is in trouble with the Federal Trade Commission because she receives so many complaints about her fake businesses. And when I received her products, they were literally false advertised to be in these pretty bottles. She literally sent them shits in Tupperware. Okay. Like Tupperware that you buy at the store. Part of the reason why, though, like mainly the reason why I reported her for fraud is because she's been doing nothing but committing fraud so that she can beg for donations and, try to make it seem like she's a victim all the time. And because of her failed business. Okay. Vanita Davis. The reason why I reported her to the Federal Trade Commission is because at the same time, she started this smear campaign against me. It was like for some reason, they decided to just start lying on my family and literally working with trolls. You cannot trust these women. Do not ever go to their websites and put your information in because they are involved, they are deeply involved with that group of people that all they do is drop documents, get people's information and begin to terrorize them. And even there was one time, and years ago, I had to report Alexis for extortion. I had to report them for extortion. Okay. Her, because she tried to extort me. I attempted to pay Alexis to just leave me alone, and I was going to have her sign an agreement. She refused to sign it, and she uh, told me, she said, well, I want 1,000. So she was basically at that point when she did that, that was basically extortion. I won't go around and lie on you just simply under the premise that you've spoken to me if you give me $1,000. Literally, that's how disgusting she is. Vanita got reported because Vanita, pretty much a lot of people in that group of people, they are not very smart. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen the behavior, the things that they do, the things that they say, they ain't very smart. So, and then they're not very moral or ethical. So basically, what they will do is they want to be in on anything that they feel is going to do harm to people. So that's when Tina, Alexis, and Vanita cozied up to the people in that group years ago because their businesses had already failed. Okay. Their businesses had already failed, and they decided that they were angry at Jamila because of that, even though at that point I had not done nothing. I don't know what was wrong with them. I don't know if they felt like, because for some reason all of a sudden it started getting exposed that Alexis was using car air freshener to season her body butters, that she was actually going to Dollar Tree or the Dollar General and mixing up ingredients that she shouldn't have been doing. And it was not just me that complained about it. It was a lot of people that complained about it. Okay, because her body butter actually caused reactions to people's skin, because you're not supposed to use uh like, I think she was using some kind of something that was not supposed to be used for the body. Because typically, when somebody is selling body butters and things of that nature and they're making them in their home, typically what ends up happening is that they're going to eventually show how they do it. Why can't you do that? That's one of the main things that a lot of small businesses use social media for. And you never have seen Alexis with a candle scents product. You've never seen her with an authentic, body approved scent for her body butters, because she just doesn't care. This is a very careless person that was making these products, still every now and then comes back with it. Do I feel that she's actually selling anything? Not really. So, what she started to do is come on here, fraud the community even more, doing all of these so-called readings under Nipsey Hussle's name, saying that Nipsey told her, Nipsey told her, Nipsey told me this about this person, that person, and she's getting ready to get sued. I can see that coming very clearly. Like, seriously. And she don't have no money for no lawsuit, because she's been really, really, really slandering a lot of famous people, and she's eventually going to get sued. Like, it's happening a lot, and I can see that happening to her. Okay. She can't come online and say, hey, contact me for a cleanse, contact me for healing. You know, she did slightly mention classes. They're not going to actually be authentic classes in witchcraft or any kind of healing, because she's definitely not a healer. Uh, she's just going to talk some shit, and the same thing that she always does. You know what I'm saying? Maybe she does offer some people encouragement. In fact, the whole psychic thing is a complete fraud anyway, because you can't go to her website and just buy a reading. Part of the reason is because she does need to be sued, and she's done a lot of people dirty. A lot of people invested money in her just because we was just all like, oh, Alexis, hey, you know what I'm saying? But in reality, she does she's well, first of all, she's mentally ill and very sociopathic. She does not care. As you can see, she used her, I guess, social media stardom, which, if that's what you want to call it, she used that to manipulate a lot of people like Tina, who Tina's not very smart. Again, you mix being not very smart with being very immoral and just don't care, and that's what you get. You know what I'm saying? And back then, when I first connected with Alexis, was on Facebook. So I just added her on Facebook as a friend, and I'm thinking, You know, I knew that she had a dirty mouth, and that didn't bother me. You know, because I do sometimes, you know what I'm saying? I'm not like prim and proper all the time, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes when I let loose. But then shortly after I added her as a friend on Facebook, her son added me on Facebook, and he immediately added me to this group called Ratchetville. Okay. In this group called Ratchetville, there was a lot of women that took interest, I guess, in him based upon photoshopped pictures that Alexis had been releasing to the public. De Niro Red does not actually look like that. You can go, he's not a bad looking dude, but she just kind of made him look like what he doesn't actually look like. Okay. And so there was a lot of females in there that pretty much was just fighting over him. And, you know, and it was real ratchet. It was real ratchet. And so I'm getting all these posts. His girlfriend at the time, which by the way, her name was Blue, coincidentally, I'm getting all these posts and these threats from this girl. And so I go to him and I'm like, hey, I've only kind of played around with you, spoken to you a few times on Messenger. Why is your girlfriend tripping out? You know what I'm saying? Why is she going nuts? And, you know, he said something, I don't even remember what he said. But I left the group, right? I was like, I'm done with this because people can have problems, but there's a difference between having problems and being ghetto. It was too ghetto for me. It was just so stupid. And as soon as I left that group, that was when the stalking started. That was when they started doing the smear campaigns. Okay. So it was almost like, you know, I wasn't allowed to leave the group, even though I didn't fit in. I wasn't interested. You know, I lost interest in him like after a few weeks. Okay. Now, at the time, okay, it pissed me off. So I did kind of play around with Alexis a little bit, saying, oh, I'm going to have your son's baby. And but in reality, I had no plans of ever dealing with her son. Just, yeah, no. Right. Anyway, so, but when I began to see the fraud that Alexis was doing in her business, I reported her. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure there's a lot of other people that have reported her because, you know, whatever we do in our business is not supposed to have anything to do with just little silly stuff that we're doing in social media. Like, you know, surely people that, you know, kind of dislike you or whatever, you know, that has nothing to do with the business that you're running. Well, the problem is, and why they're upset with me, because at that time, Tina and Vanita and the trolls were flagging Alexis's channel. They were pretty much flagging her channel, and her channel, her original channel, did get flagged. And that's when she went over to Facebook for years until she came back over to YouTube. Um, After she came back to YouTube, she attempted to sell her products. Nobody bought it because the audience that she built was donation based. You know, they'll send her $1 or two or three or five or maybe even 10. In fact, last year it was exposed that there was a young man that sent her $300 for a reading, and she never gave him the reading. So I don't, you know, I don't know the whole story behind that. You know, the dude never got his money back. Don't ever send her any money for a reading because she is not a professional reader. Okay. She's not. In fact, do I feel that she's a psychic? It's kind of funny how the so-called readings and visions that Alexis is doing is things that we already know about. We already know about the gayness in the rap community. We already know about the corruption in the music industry. So what is she reading, right? What is she reading exactly? Anyway, she's obsessed with celebrities. She's very celebrity obsessed. And part of the reason why she says all these negative things about celebrities is because she's jealous of celebrities, because she wanted her own show where she was going to talk about this so-called vagina power. And but then her son went to prison, right? When her son went to prison, the same trolls, like literally, I don't see how somebody would put themselves through that. These same trolls was basically taunting her, saying, "What kind of vagina power do you have when your son is in prison?" Instead of her handling it like a woman, she comes on there, makes all kinds of excuses, and claims that I made it all happen to her. That pretty much the reason why she went downhill and is still there is because of me. Not because of her son's drug addiction, not because he robbed somebody. He ended up robbing somebody, shooting somebody. He's in prison in Georgia, has been there for ever, for like I think they gave him 20 years. Instead, she came on here and basically began to do this smear campaign towards me, right? I think it was to kind of deflect away from who she really is, right? I've been dealing with this for a while. I have a legitimate business that I earn enough to where I file on my taxes. I come on here and tell people about the work that I do for them. I come on here and actually advertise. Why? Because I'm authentic. She can't do that because, number one, for her, it's just a hustle. She doesn't take it seriously, supposedly, what she's supposed to be doing. And she's been pretty much getting trolls to stalk me for years, And so with Vanita got a whole bunch of ripoff reports uh, because people would always report that they would go to Vanita to get spiritual work, Spirit Tree. She changed her name from Spirit Tree. It's not Spirit Tree Naima anymore. It's now Mother Wisdom Tree. Okay. People would go to her to get spiritual work and she wouldn't actually do the work for them. How else would things get worse? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like people would always report that their lives would just fall apart. A lot of these people that they are terrorizing are literally afraid to speak out in public about it because they made the mistake of giving these women their addresses. So they have been forced into silence because they will SWAT a person's house. Okay. They will SWAT, they will harass you at your home if they have your address. So if you're doing that and you're in the habit of doing that, nobody's going to give you their address so that you can do that to them. Nobody. Okay. When you go to a website, you have to actually put in your billing information. You have to put in your address unless it's Cash App. So I think that Vanita Her website is pretty much just for show, but Alexis mainly utilizes Cash App for her scam. And the scam these days is lying on celebrities, making up shit about celebrities, claiming that she's doing a psychic reading. Okay. That's her main claim to fame these days, which I believe eventually, because did y'all see where Nicki Minaj sued Nosy Ho? And I believe Nicki Minaj was very graceful. She granted her grace. All she asked for was an apology, because some of these people that are really, really desperate for views, they think that it's okay for them to come on here and just say whatever they want to say about celebrities. I feel strongly that eventually Alexis is going to be sued. And you know what? To be honest with you, she's sick enough to where she probably would enjoy the attention. That's how sick she is. Because she would feel like she was given some kind of traction. It's like it's this, hey, look at me, look at what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? So I think that that's why, for the most part, people choose to just ignore her. Because she doesn't even really have a channel. Her views are fake. She's been on YouTube for upwards to 25 years. Some of her videos get like 7,000 views, some of them get 1,000. They're fake. She's buying them views. Okay. She is. I don't know why they're still here. I'm going to tell y'all something. I believe that it's simply just to hate on me and others. Why are they still here? Their businesses failed a long time ago. Vanita got outed by, literally, she got outed by the hoodoo community as being unauthentic, because she's claiming to practice hoodoo. She's claiming to work with these orishas. Mm, they didn't like that. You know what I'm saying? Because she spoke about it, how somebody would, and it may not have been nobody. It may have just been her trolling herself, because nobody really cares. You know what I'm saying? Like, part of the reason why a lot of people, why Vanita lost views, is because she was so busy trying to harass me that people were totally freaked out by a lot of the stuff that she was saying. Imagine somebody that calls themselves mother or mama, and then she goes live several times saying that she hates little children. Imagine her viewers are like, I have children. So she pretty much canceled herself a long time ago, because those are pretty much our viewers. They're going to be women, they're going to be families and with children, and she's on there saying that she hates little children. So basically, pretty much, I think that because the both of them did not get YouTube famous, because as somebody that does authentic work, I've had a website for years. um and I don't just depend on views from YouTube and social media for hits on my website. Obviously, that would be search engine optimization for the website and traffic to the website from Google or Yahoo or Bing. um I don't need a whole googob of views. You know what I'm saying? Like, they help, trust me, they do, they help. But for years they were flagging my main channel. For years they flagged that channel, right? And so that's why the main channel, the views plummeted, because they, were flagging it. Even with them flagging the channel, even with the channel blacklisted, my business is still good. You know what I'm saying? For them, they wanted a bunch of views. They wanted TV shows. They wanted fame that they never got. So what do? They run around here frauding people. Okay. They run around here frauding people. That's one of the reasons why I think about it. If you have an authentic worker, an authentic spiritual worker that's out here doing work for people, there are going to be reviews somewhere. You cannot find any reviews for spiritually. None. Like literally none. The only thing you could find for her was ripoff reports. So for some reason, that whole thing failed a long time ago because I believe that the spiritual community, they recognize real from fake. And so do the ancestors, and so do these spirits. They recognize that. And they're definitely frauds. You know what I'm saying? And just a lot of the odd, weird things that they were doing, And so now at this point, what we have is people upset and mad because their stuff failed and they're taking it out on me as if I had something to do with it. No, it's just that this is not for you. So they did get reported. And not only that, the people that they have stalking me are being reported. Eventually, it's going to go down, eventually, because it's illegal for you to continuously stalk me on the internet. It is legitimately considered to be internet stalking, what they're doing. Okay. At this point, 10 years later, yeah, that's definitely stalking, especially being that I have said so many times that I don't want to be a part of that. Leave me out of it. And, they're constantly, oh, she wants to be a part of this. If I say I don't want to be connected to y'all, they'll go live and say, oh, you're connected to us. And we're bothering you. And it's like, well, no, actually you're not bothering me, you're bothering the community, you're bothering people that are in need of solace, you're bothering people that need healing, you're bothering empaths is what you're doing. People are seriously disturbed by their behavior. There's no way in hell that anybody is going to go to them and trust them, and you can tell that spiritually is not authentic because she came on there talking about her health problems and basically tried to blame it on the spiritual work. She said that as a healer, when you heal people, it makes you sick. That's actually not true. Okay. You can tell that spiritually has some kind of kidney problem or something because she's got all that fat on her stomach. And then also you can tell that she's got liver problems because her eyes are yellow. She tried to tell people that the reason why her eyes were yellow is because that is a part of being a spiritually gifted person in the South. No, that would be jaundice of the eyes, why they're turning yellow. They're mad. They got really mad at me when I moved into that house in 2020. They got very upset at me, claimed that they contacted the landlord. Vanita had that boy in Chicago take down that show because it was too incriminating. The cat is already out of the bag. People already know who you are. People already know they can't trust you. And you have to be careful with people like that because their spirits is sort of like into child sacrifice as well. And we can sit up here all day and long, all day and night, and say, oh, well, that ain't real. That ain't, you know what I'm saying? But there's been a lot of bad things that have happened to the people that become connected to them, which is why now at this point, they don't even care. Like last year, Alexis y'all know the whole scandal about the revenge porn that got dropped. Who cares? It's not, I don't give it power. Somebody had emailed me saying, Alexis is going around with this video of you spreading it around the internet. And that is because everything that they did failed. Now they're harassing me because I actually have a business. I actually have clients. I actually am taken seriously. You know what I'm saying? And, they're mad because for them, it was just a hustle. And then also, when you get a very immoral, unethical person, if you give them any resonance of power, they're going to abuse it. They're going to abuse it. Okay. She put her LLC in Nipsey's name, which to me is so crass. It's crass. It's embarrassing. You don't even know this man. Why do you have an LLC in this man's government name? However, what she did was she misspelled his first name with the A instead of an E, because she knows that technically she can't do that. She ain't doing nothing but giving him a bad name. She's making him look bad. Okay. Even though a lot of people loved him or whatever, you know, to me, I wouldn't want to celebrate his memory with her because she's so fake. Please believe that she does not care about that man. She does not care about him. She does not care about the way she makes him look. She does not care. She's claiming that Nipsey Hussle is coming to her in spirit and telling her all of this stuff about all of these other rappers in the music industry, the things that she's pretty much washed and rinsed and repeated the cycle over and over again. In the meantime, she's very angry because she's sick. Number one, you got to realize that both of these ladies are sick. Okay. And that's one of the reasons why you don't see them going live too often. You don't see her on camera too often because she is legitimately sick, not just physically, but mentally. I, for one, have no sympathy because she created this army of trolls against me that pretty much spreaded falsehoods against me. I believe that where all these people came from are people that, again, she was capitalizing off of the whole thing with the whole dogging out the black woman, dogging out the single mother, dogging out witches or spiritualists, you know what I'm saying? And it's just so crass. It really is. This chick named Blue. It is kind of a weird coincidence that she has the same name as De Niro's ex-girlfriend. Do I think it's the same woman? Possibly could be. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't. I'm not going to sit around. I'm not into that sector to where they be doing their little detective work and all that stuff. I don't have time for it. I have better things to do with my time. But I just wanted to let y'all know, do not trust those people. You know, they're very socially inept. Is the only way I can describe them. If you disagree, or like, I can tell you exactly what happened between her and Shan. I can tell you exactly what happened. She asked Shan to do something for her. Shan wouldn't do it, and she flipped. That's exactly what happened. Gave out that lady's address. That's exactly what happened. You don't have to do anything for them to flip on you. It would be different if Shan came to social media and was talking to people about her. That's not what that lady was doing. And then also, what does that have to do with her address? Why are you giving out people's personal information? Immediately. Immediately gave out her personal information to the public. And you know what? I ain't heard from Shan in a while. I hope that she's doing okay, because she was calling me for a little while. I hope she's doing okay, because Alexis is disgusting. She is. And they got ties with that group, especially Vanita. I believe that Vanita is the one that is encouraging Blue, and also this dude named Bum Dot. I believe that she encourages them. And then I believe that, and they're flunky, pretty much flunkies. Blue is a flunky. That's what you would call that. And Alexis is encouraging Tina. Tina's her flunky, pretty much. I've seen many people run successful businesses, and the one thing that they don't do is what they do. Okay. Then also another thing, just a warning. Um, Alexis herself is very parasitic. It's not vampirism, it's parasitic. Okay. The people that she's very parasitic to are, Alexis is parasitic to Queen Afua, and any rapper person that she can go on there and talk about. Okay. That's why you don't see their, I don't know about Spirit Tree, but I know that they don't put their website in their video description boxes. They don't necessarily advertise. Anybody that is running a business or offering a service is going to offer that service. They're going to say it. They're going to say, "Hey, I offer this, I offer that." They don't do that because they can't, because they're not authentic, number one, and they have kind of gotten into trouble, which they well deserve. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. There are some cases, and it just really depends, to where a person may pay for work and they may not get results right away. I know that I get results right away. If you are feeling run down or just burned out, the cleanses are going to work immediately. You know what I'm saying? You're going to feel an immediate lift. You're going to feel uplifted immediately. You know what I'm saying? And with them, it's like they don't do nothing. It's the same thing with her getting paid for that reading and not doing the reading. You're just going to be sending in money for them to not actually do anything. And what they will do is play you, get your money, and come back and say, well, they'll talk about witchcraft, you know, they'll talk about it as if witches are wrong. Is something wrong with it? So that's how you know they're not authentic. Then they'll come back religious, singing gospel music and stuff. And so it's at this point, what it is turned into is sort of like a witch hunt type of thing, because that's kind of how it started years ago. They were doing witch hunting or something, you know what I'm saying? And it's so stupid. It's such an embarrassment to the Black community. Y'all got to understand that there are Black witches on here that consider themselves to be pagan. There are Black Satanists on here too. Um, I don't know why these people blame me for everything. Clearly, they don't have proper spiritual guidance. Okay. They don't have the proper spiritual guidance. They don't know enough. They don't know anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just come on here and say, oh, this and that. And, they bite stuff off of a lot of people. That's just like Vanita started reading this book. She got that idea from me. She claims that I steal all her ideas. But in reality, me and her are on we're in two different arenas completely and totally. They've been doing this smear campaign against me for years. Alexis has claimed that she spoke to my mother. That person in that audio is not my mother. Okay. Me and my mother have the same exact voice. It's not my mother. In fact, they probably got my mother's voice off of her answering machine and tried to emulate it. Otherwise, they have no proof. Um, Years ago, Spiritually was so desperate that she was trying to insinuate that my mother was her client, coming on here with a similar story of my mother that she picked up from me, because I was talking about how me and my mother began to have issues after I moved, because my mother was not happy about me moving. Okay, my mother's deceased now. Okay, but years ago, Spiritually came on here and she's concocting this whole story, trying to make it seem like she's my mother's, my mother was her client or whatever, and my mother was trying to hire her to get me to move back. And, Spiritual's way of doing it was to attack me and be abusive to me and my children. And that's not true. She has no proof. My mother has never sent those women any money. And my mother, in fact, has never even spoken to them. They harassed my mother. My mother had her same phone number for well over 15 years. Because, my she's older. And older people typically have a home phone. They were calling and harassing my mother so much that she had to get her phone number changed. How did they get my mother's number? On the internet. My mother has never reached out to these people. They don't know her. She don't know them. So, you know, it just it's terrible. And we all know that if they actually spoke to my mother, I would say it. I'd be like, well, yeah, that is my why would that need to, you know, if me and my mother, we were into it. We were arguing. We were, you know what I'm saying? Like me and my mother, it wasn't a big secret that we were having issue with each other. That's my story. What does it have to do with them? That was 10 years ago when that happened. Literally 10 years ago when that happened. Over 10 years ago, I moved to Kansas. My mother was upset when I moved to Kansas. My mother was trying to buy a house for me across the street from her. That's how close me and my mother was. My mother was pissed when I moved to Kansas. Okay. That was in 2011. Basically, what they were all doing was biting off of my story. Maybe I shouldn't have been discussing it. My mother was doing some things that really was not right. Maybe I shouldn't have discussed it. Maybe they shouldn't be backbiting though and trying to add fluff to it and literally trying to create an entire thing against me in social media when everybody should be just moving on with their lives. Please explain to me, how is that good for anybody's family for you to be out in social media bringing up old arguments and then trying to fluff it? How is that good for my children? How would that be good for anybody? So these people clearly want to do some kind of harm, and I'm not even going to go there. I'm not even going to go there. Okay? All I know is that it's stupid. It is. It's stupid. If your business failed, I see why. I was a customer of Alexis, had never said anything negative about her business. I was literally laying in my bed, putting my baby to sleep. I pick up my cell phone, and Alexis is live doing a live show saying that I was stalking her. I'm literally sitting at home with my baby. And so, of course, I contact her and I'm like, what is going on? I ordered products from you. I bought a reading from you. I donated to you. What the hell? She's legit mentally ill. Nothing had happened. Nothing. Nothing. I didn't do anything to her. I didn't say anything to her. It would be different if I bought a reading from her or bought her products and came online and said, you know, yeah, y'all know that I supported Alexis and she really been getting on my nerve or whatever. Or if I were judgmental of her or tried to do like some people do, which is try to take your dignity. I don't understand why people do that. Dignity is an energy, it's a spirit. Always remember that dignity is a spirit. And people, when they try to take your dignity from you, you got every right to take it back. Nobody has the right to, that's narcissism. Somebody support you or support your business and then they come to social media mad at you because they're mad at the world any damn way, and they're like, oh, I supported your business and da 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 da, and it's like, but what happened? Nothing happened. What are you doing? That's exactly what narcissistic people do. Or I've had this happen to me to where a person feels like they can't get enough of your time. And because they bought something from you, and that's only happened with one person, and that person is currently still stalking me with a dude on here. None of my clients do that. None of them. Okay. Basically, oh, I bought something from you and you don't want to be my friend. And Wow. Yeah. So that never happened. And then that's when I made the mistake of kind of teaming up with Tina, which was a huge mistake. Huge mistake. Just to kind of mess with Alexis years ago because Tina's become super duper attached to the situation too. My theory is that they don't really know how to have a social life. They don't know how to do the social thing. It's very socially awkward. It's very awkward and irritating as well. Irritating as well. So, there don't get mad at me because your business has failed. You never had a business. What business did you have? Okay, coming online, making a doll, claiming that you sold it to somebody, whoever it was that you sold it to, whoever it is that you're selling these things to, they seem to be non existent, like they don't exist. So, it's like I said, that is the spirit of desperation because they're desperate to prove what? Nothing. It's nothing there. That's what. And for some reason, they blame it on me. It's all my fault. Ridiculous. And truth of the matter is that they didn't really affect me except for when they flagged my channel and I wasn't getting an AdSense check anymore. You know what I mean? And my main channel has been it's had very, very slow growth. And that is because and they were actually bragging about getting my channel demonetized by falsely flagging it. Why? Do they put up any content that can actually be monetized? The people in that group? No, they're on here bullying, stalking, and harassing people every day. And I think that they're foolish to think that they're safe. They're very foolish because there have been enough police reports that have went in to the point where they're being watched, especially surrounding the times that they start filing false reports is when they get watched. So then what they do is lie and make up stuff. It was so disgusting years ago, and I'm pretty sure that it came from Alexis. Pretty sure it was her idea. It's got her imprint all over it. Years ago in 2015, I get contacted by DFAX, and DFAX is like, telling me, they're like, we saw the original footage. We know that the stuff that they're releasing is fake. I didn't even see this picture that they sent. I didn't see this disgusting Photoshop picture of me and my son. I didn't even see it until a few years ago. Prior to a few years ago, they were keeping that picture secret and trying to use it to contact CPS. Well, DFAX keeps record of the evidence that they may send in. So they already knew it was fake. They got so desperate that now they're just posting it And it's pretty disgusting. That right there within itself says this is illegal. Something is wrong. Because they tried to use that fake Photoshop picture to report me to DFAX or the police or whatever. It was so stupid. So right off the bat, you already know that they don't have much good sense or common sense. Because anything that's done on YouTube is documented. All they have to do is go. There would not even be any way for me to edit that. Like right now, I think a few years ago they put an edit feature in your YouTube studio, but even still, YouTube is going to have the original. So even if I went in and tried to edit something out, the police would know, because all they would have to do is contact YouTube and say, "Send me the original video," and even if it was edited. So they're they're not very smart people at all. You know what I'm saying? Like they just do whatever trashy gutter crap, and they're expecting to get some kind of respect and accolades for it. And it's totally ridiculous, and it's just harassment. At this point, it's turned into almost daily harassment. What they do in that sector, or I don't even like calling them a sector, let's call them a group. What they do in their group is they just each decide to harass each other and me, and it's so pointless and a waste of time. It really is. And it's not even entertaining. It's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it would be different if they were just telling jokes. But the jokes that they tell are very dark, and it's disgusting. The things that they say is disgusting. But the part of the reason why Vanita and Alexis hangs around that sector is because they feel that they can capitalize off of it. But they haven't. That sector was is not a place for anybody to be doing any networking unless you're a criminal. Only frauds network through that sector, through that they call it the black sector. It's just a bunch of fraud and scams. It's really sad, you know. And I guess there's a lot of people that felt some kind of kinship, especially with Alexis, to the point where, they're just like, "Oh, somebody did something to her." Nobody did anything to her. I get sick of people saying that. Now, I will tell you, I have done that work because it's been going on for far too long. And then she attacked me last year with some disgusting crap. Otherwise, she lost it years ago, fell off years ago, and it was nobody's fault but her own. You know what I mean? She's self-inflicting herself. And then of course she has this weird god complex, which is very bizarre. So, Alexis has never spoken to my mother. She's came on here several times and lied. In fact, I'm just going to be honest with you. My mother never liked Alexis. Never. She never liked her. Okay. And in fact, my mother even warned me. She said, "You don't need to be talking to them. I just got a bad feeling about them. I got a bad feeling." My mother would, that's kind of how she did her psychism. she told me one day, she said, Shawnee, I got a bad feeling about her. She was like, I don't want you talking to her. So my mom didn't mess with them people, and they were trying to smear my mother. Okay, when that girl did that live stream, trolls in the chat room saying her mother must have been on drugs too. Neither me or my mother have ever been on drugs. So that's something that I knew that they would do. And the reason why is because of, they kind of use it for their own purpose. The guy's channel that it's on, he's embarrassed by other people. First of all, I didn't expose the fact that his mother was on drugs. Why are you taking it out on me? I don't even know you. The rest of the people in that group are the ones that exposed that his mother was on drugs and exposed her mugshots and exposed that she had passed away. Why is he making a video about me? Does he actually believe that the people that I get down with are actually taking him seriously? Do they believe that? No, because it's preposterous. It's ridiculous. Okay, the people that I deal with are interested in spirit. They're interested in the craft. They're interested in healing. They're interested in the herbs. They're interested in spells. They're rituals and pacts. They're not interested in what those people are doing or talking about. In fact, it's quite nerve wracking. The people that I deal with vibrate far too high. And a lot of times when I come on here pissed and angry, the people that support me don't even listen to it. They don't like to see me. They don't like to feel like I'm upset about that stuff, which I don't actually get upset. Like, it just that it's been going on for so long that, and then the fact that they're attacking my children. So that's been going on since 2014. Started when we were in Kansas. And no, they did not have my address when I lived in Kansas. But they were able to, because if at the time I was getting food stamps, you know what I'm saying? And when you report something to DFACS, but over in Kansas, everybody pretty much knows everybody. Kansas wasn't gonna, continuously come to my house over and over and over again, like that. They kind of knew what was going on. You know what I'm saying? And they had my first address when I moved to Lawrence. Because when I moved, I actually vlogged it. I showed my house. Very nice, really brand new duplex. It was gorgeous. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful home. And so they knew that address, but they didn't start the CPS smear campaign until probably, they decided to start doing that, like maybe possibly like a year later. But CPS where I'm from, they're not gonna keep coming by and keep coming by. All I gotta say is that if they thought that I was going to come down here to Georgia and fall victim and something happened to my kids or I lose my child, they're crazy, because I'm not on drugs. And that's kind of something that I've had over 60 meetings with DFACS. And that's why they investigated me so much, because they called down there claiming that I'm on drugs. Well, why is it that when they come by, you can tell when somebody's on drugs? And here we are 10 years later. If I were a drug addict, I would look like it. And I do not look like I am on any drugs. I just look like a 47-year-old woman that's tired that needs to go back home. It's time for me to go back home. So, and that's exactly what we're doing. I know we'll be happier back home. It's Georgia would have been an okay place for my family, but it's just I don't it's too close for comfort to these crazy people that I don't want nothing to do with. And then they've got a troll running around snapping pictures and taking videos and spying on me, and it's just very bizarre. It's very I can't even imagine. You must not have a job or anything else better to do to be doing stuff like that, because I know I would definitely not have time to be driving around taking pictures of anybody. That's just me. Okay. So, and then plus I want to move out of Georgia because it kind of put a bad taste in my mouth. Uh, it's, believe it or not, it's a housing crisis in Georgia, just like in California. It's a housing crisis, and it's a lot of dirty landlords down here. So I'm used to Cornmeal, Missouri, Cornfield, Missouri, where people treat each other with respect. You know what I mean? Like, I have ran into some of the worst landlords in Georgia, especially the ones that are located out of town, out of state. So I can't wait to get back home to where, I just get that Midwest treatment, because they're just very, very, it's home, it's home. And Kansas City is, I mean, I'm not even gonna lie to you. Georgia it's a pretty ghetto. I'm gonna tell you that it's a pretty. I hate to say it that way. Now, I'm not gonna say that every area is ghetto. I'm not saying that it's ghetto. Period. It's beautiful down here. The main thing is the trees. It's so gorgeous down here. It's literally like living in a forest. I think that's the main thing that I'm gonna miss. But there's a lot of trees where I'm from. It's not the type of trees that's here that are native to Georgia, but it's still, it's home. So I can't wait to go back home. And I am going back home. And it's going to be the best thing for us, because now, as far as me getting out of social media, no, I'm standing my ground, and it doesn't matter what they do. They've tried to threaten me when I've went live to do readings. They're on the phone calling DFACS, trying to literally violate my civil and my human rights by doing that. Probably calling them right now. Eventually somebody's going to get arrested for calling and filing false reports. Eventually. Okay. So, Anyway, that's pretty much all I had to say about that. I gotta go. Y'all have a good one. Don't trust none of them. Don't trust any of them. I can imagine that there's people that they're cool with online, and they be like, hey, where do you live? What's your address so I can send something to you? And those people are like, oh shoot, the thing is beeping. Let me go click. Like, bitch, I ain't giving you my address. I bet you they got people on here that they cool with that will not give them their address. In fact, it's some kind of thing that ticks inside of them. Once they find out somebody's address, they have to do something to you. What, like, I don't understand it. I'm willing to bet money, okay, that chick Christina that Tina's cool with, I'm willing to bet money that that lady will not give Tina her address. I'm willing to bet money that she would never give her address because she knows what type of person that she is. She'll use it as leverage or as a threat. And you got to be a sad, sorry sack of shit when somebody can't even give you their address without you putting it out to the public. Especially, I mean, the public can have your address, but giving somebody's address to that sector is like that's pretty messed up. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's kind of crazy. All right, y'all. I gotta go. That's all I gotta say. Y'all have a good one. Bye.